Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast.
The 49ers have really become synonymous with this draft NFL Redshirt development program. And it's offense, defense, it's all over the place. It doesn't matter when you get drafted, first, second, third round, whatever. They want people to learn what it is that they do and then have them step in. And I think one of the players that everybody was really excited about last year, because you could see the pathway to playing time a year down the road, was linebacker Jaylen Graham, who they drafted late last year. And we'll dive into all that. But, you know, you had Fred Warner, you had Trey Greenlaw, you had Oren Burks. And it was like, man, you bring in D. Winters, he's going to take over the Greenlaw role eventually, perhaps. And Jaylen Graham, who's going to take over the Oren Burks role, perhaps. Didn't happen last year. Jaylen Graham logged 0 defensive snaps in 2023 his rookie year. 0. Didn't play at all. Did get a lot of preseason snaps. We'll talk about that. But it seems like the time is now for Jaylen Graham to put up, or, you know, whatever. You're a late round pick. You get, the 49ers give almost everybody a year. They're really good at making sure they keep all the guys they draft on their roster. Tariq Castro-Fields was the last one that didn't make it. He's still playing in the NFL. I think he's playing with Washington. But they keep, whether by injury or makeup injuries or whatever, I'm not saying that, you're saying that, they keep most of their draft picks. And they were able to keep Jaylen Graham last year, even though he never really played, did some special teams work. Where does he fit in this year? Because there's a spot that's wide open. He's just got to kick that door down. And he comes in number 45 for us, which, in my opinion, is a little high. We look at our rankings. We were all pretty close on him. The 4 ballots we submitted, the highest was 42. The lowest was 46. Nobody was super high on him. Nobody was super low on him. I don't know. I think it's a coin flip's chance if he makes this roster. They like him. They like the traits. They like the measurables. Last year, he came in on our list at number 65. So he's jumped 20 spots without playing a single defensive down. There were some promising moments in the preseason, but there were also some terrible moments in the preseason. In fact, there was one point where you saw the coaches get audibly or visibly mad at him for missing a gap, which gave, I think it was against the Chargers. It was a huge run play right through the B gap, and he just fielded wrong, and dude went off to the races. It was huge. Didn't have a great preseason, and so they didn't trust him, and so they just they parked him. Curious to see what comes out. Shout out to Josh, executive producer of today's show. Now, Jaylen Graham wears jersey number 50, and he's a hybrid linebacker safety convert. Stop me if you heard that before. Started with Fred Warner. Holy cow, that was amazing. You did it with Jalen Maloney, I think his name was, DFF. I've done it with a lot of different players. Jaylen Graham's just like the 4th or 5th installment of that. And you look at his metrics, 6'2", 220. That's big. That is big, long length, 33-inch arms. It's almost left tackle arm length. 23 years old, very, very young. Still got a lot of time to develop and learn. And that's part of me says, man, even if he ain't ready, that's okay. The kid's 23. You can park him. You can still park him for a year. Get him some more time. Give him some more time. It's not an issue there. 4.640. You'd like him to have a little bit more speed, but not bad for sure. 1.68 10 cone. All right. 30.5-inch vertical, 18 bench press reps. Now, here's where it gets fun. Because Jaylen Graham was a safety, worked out at a linebacker group at the Combine. And so you look at his guys that he's close to, not a lot percentage-wise. Jalen Smith out of Notre Dame went to the Cowboys, 82% match. Wesley Woodyard out of Kentucky, 80% match. But sometimes you get a click on the athlete button on mockdraftable.com. He's a 99% comp, and you got all the workouts. Like, some guys are 99%, and all you got's like arm length, height, weight. It's like 3 things. No. This dude, you got it all. 99% match with Keenan Allen. The athleticism, the length, that is there. This is a convert, okay? You look at, and a lot of people want to compare Jaylen Graham to Fred Warner. Jaylen Graham, they're different. Warner had a lot more mass to him. coming from BYU. But listen to Johnny Holland, the linebacker coach for the 49ers, one of the best coaches in the NFL position-wise. He's going to talk about D. Winters and Jaylen Graham. This was this offseason and kind of what it is they bring and what he sees for them. So this is Johnny Holland, linebacker coach for the 49ers, talking about D. Winters and Jaylen Graham, but the majority of the clip's on Jaylen Graham.
Man, D. Winters, has a lot of tangibles we look for in our linebackers. He can run, got great speed, instinctive, and he can find the ball. And Jaylen Graham has length and can play in space, and he's remind me of the size of a young Fred Warner. He's very athletic, and I think those are really two good pickups for him.
There was talk that he was too tall to be big.
Yeah. Sometimes you say linebackers too tall, but we like them with length. That extra 2 inches of reach is a lot of tip balls in space, and a lot of wrap tackles that you can get your reach around them to tackle them and bring them down. So we like them long and can play with leverage, and guys are smart, and those guys reach those criteria.
The 49ers aren't necessarily a threshold position drafter where like a guy has to be this tall or this much weight or whatever, but they do have things that they look for, and there's 2 types of linebackers. There's the tall, lengthy Mike linebacker, Sam linebacker, Oren Burks, Aziz, Fred Warner, like those guys, that's that. Then there's the short, stocky thumpers, and that's D. Winters, that's, my favorite player, Drake Greenlaw, those type of guys. Jaylen Graham is the length guy. There's 2 linebacker roles, and that's him. So he's not a will linebacker. He'll never take a snap at will linebacker. Maybe they could eventually, but he's a Sam Mike convert. And Sam, the strong linebacker position, which comes out in a true 4-3. When you're in nickel, there's no Sam out there, right? So think of Oren Burks' role last year. That's what he is fighting for. Now, back-to-back players on this. We just finished Jalen Moore, another Michigan, another Detroit guy. Now, he didn't play for Michigan to college, but he went to Cass Tech High School, Detroit, Michigan. Went to Purdue, Big Ten guy, smart guy. Selling and sales management was his degree. He was a 3-star recruit, but as a defensive back. And with the Boilermakers, just kept adding weight. He played in that star role. This is the new next thing that's going to kind of influence the NFL. This hybrid safety, corner, linebacker, nickel role that can do all those things. Renardo Green did the same thing. Malik Mustafa did the same thing. This is the new thing where you just get like this joker role. Derwin James is the closest thing in the NFL to it. Now, I'm not saying Jaylen Graham's Derwin James. That's not what I'm saying at all. Kyle Hamilton, this new hybrid role. That's what he played in college. We're channeling him inside to linebacker, but the Niners love this versatility. And you even heard Johnny Holland talk about the lengthened space, the pass coverage. He can add some of that because he's just so long and tall. Mess up some throwing windows. That's what they want. Now, Jaylen Graham was honorable mention All Big Ten for Purdue. Awesome track athlete in high school. Ran a 22.3 in the 20-meter dash, so he's got some speed to him. His team in high school went 11-2 and was awesome. Quarterback, defensive back, lost the championship game 1 year. Played at 2 separate schools, Birmingham, Detroit County Day School, and then, went to Cass Tech High School. It helped both of them make deep playoff runs. Never won the state championship there, which was whatever. In 2018 was, all-state. Awesome dude. He's just a damn good player, high energy. And, we had him ranked in our pre-draft write-up book. We had him as our 22nd linebacker, and we had a 7th round grade on him. Well, guess what? Went in the 7th round. We had him kind of graded about where the 49ers did. Now, Scott McLuhan, who used to be the 49ers GM, he does an article with Matt Barrows of The Athletic every year after the draft talking about what he thought. He had back-to-back years, 4th round grades on Jaylen Graham. So Scott McLuhan, responsible for drafting Frank Gore, Joe Staley, a lot of those guys. He loved this player, Jaylen Graham. And I think the ceiling play is there. I really, really do. It's just the consistency, the conversion, and do you have time to wait on the development? Because he still might be a year out. Remember, 0 defensive snaps last year. That's got to play a role into it. Now, you look at just the tape, right? So my pre-draft write-up plays way faster than tested. I mean, he's a speed dude. He plays 100% all the time. Good football instincts, desire to get to where the ball is going, wants to be involved in the pile, limited in man coverage, but instinctive ball hawk. He had 3 picks his last year in college, dropping into zone, all that different stuff. And the 49ers met with him before the draft, so intelligence is there, work ethic is there, the body is there. He's just got to read it. He's not there yet. Not there yet. I think his main competition is DFF. Now, DFS making this roster, fully guaranteed contract, special teams player, whatever. But Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles got 174 defensive snaps last year. That's crazy to me. That's where Tatum Bethune and Jaylen Graham got to get some of those. You got to. Because if Graham's going to make this roster, it's not going to be as a special teams only player this year. You've got to find the field at some point, especially with Dre Greenlaw out. You got to. Now, Devondre Campbell's probably taking almost all those snaps early, but, you know, Drake Greenlaw's not coming back till November at the earliest. So if there's any injury, you need to play. I think the will spot, that's going to be, you know, you've got Devondre Campbell. He'll probably start D. Winters to be that backup there. But who's going to be that Sam guy? That's the thing that is going to be very intriguing about training camp rotations and all that stuff. Where is number 50, Jaylen Graham, playing? Is he on the sideline watching? Or is he out there getting snaps at Sam, getting snaps at Will, getting snaps at Mike? Where is he? That's one of the things I really want to see. Now, only had 58 special team snaps last year, too. That's not good. So you can't make the roster as just a special teams guy, get 58 special team snaps. That's got to be in the 200s as a linebacker. You've got to be on all the special teams groups, which he didn't prove he could do yet. Now, preseason, that's when we saw him the most. That's when we saw him last. 119 defensive snaps in the preseason. 2 missed tackles, 6 solo stops, 1 penalty, gave up 5 catches on 6 targets. Wasn't good. PFF grades weren't good. Missed assignments weren't good. And it was quite evident. There were a couple plays where it was like, oh, he made this awesome, it was just a running back lead play where he met it in the A-gap, nice tackle for loss, and it was just like, boom. You see what it could be. You saw glimpses, but it's glimpses. It's not consistent. It's a lot of busted run gap coverage, and it's a lot of busted guys were just taking advantage of it. Like, his head was it was spinning. Game's got to slow down for him. And so just needs more time, needs more consistency. Now, again, he was drafted in the 7th round, so this is a 255th overall pick. 49ers don't have a lot in him to be like, oh, we can't cut this guy. He's not in that camp. He's a 7th round pick that played 0 snaps last year. They want to keep him, no doubt about that. He made $827,000 last year on his rookie deal, so that's awesome. Love that he got played. 0 stats, played 4 appearances in games, all special teams, right? So let's look at the linebacker depth chart, okay? Usually keep 5 to 6. And, the Dre Greenlaw injury, he's going to be on the pup. Warner, Devondre Campbell, DFF, whose entire salary is guaranteed. That dude's making the roster. Dre Greenlaw, but probably won't count as your initial 5 to 6. So then you get, you got your 3 locks, Warner, Campbell, DFF. Who's the next lock? D. Winters? I think so. Jaylen Graham, maybe. Tatum Bethune, maybe. Zeke Turner, Curtis Robinson. There's that's a healthy competition. The 49ers want D. Winters, Jaylen Graham, Tatum Bethune to dominate so that you can keep those draft picks. But, man, Zeke Turner is a beast special teamer. So if you're Jaylen Graham, you've got to prove you can do more on special teams and be the backup Sam. Like, you've got to show that. If you can't do that, Tatum Bethune's going to pass you by. Zeke Turner, that dude will start on every special team thing ever. because, you look at Zeke Turner. I need to get to my write-up on him. I'm scrolling real fast. That dude, oh, come on. It's not going to pull up for me. He's played, here we go. I just found it. Sorry about that. How many snaps did he have over the last year? Yeah, 345 special team snaps last year. This 1,700 career special team snaps for Zeke Turner. So you've got to prove that dude's a special team stud. The 49ers have one of the worst special teams units in the NFL, 8 consecutive years. You've got to prove you belong. And the way you do that is by linebacker and special teams play. So there's two kind of paths for Jaylen Graham to make this roster. Got to beat out Tatum Bethune. You got to beat out Zeke Turner. You got to. If you don't do both those things, I'm not sure he makes this roster. And I know he's 45 on our list, on our countdown. 53 make the roster. But that backup linebacker, it is cutthroat. Got to stay healthy. Got to prove you belong. I hope he does, because I think the ceiling's there because of the measurables, because of the intelligence, because of the ball skills. But, man, mistakes. This is a championship team. If this was the Arizona Cardinals, I think he'd have a chance to make the roster, even if they had the exact same depth chart, because they're building for the future. Nuh-uh. 49ers ain't doing that. 49ers building for now. That number 5 linebacker spot is going to go to a player who plays now. So, Jaylen Graham, you had your redshirt year. It's time to show up. And if you don't, you'll be playing for somebody else. And I don't want that. I really want this kid around long term, especially, Devondre Campbell. You're losing a lot of linebackers next year. Dre Greenlaw last year of his deal, 1-year deal for DFF. I want this kid to be part of our linebacking core for the future. I really do. So for us, we'll just keep counting him down.